We're making this video as the 8th video of our channel, Making POTUS. POTUS, for those who don't know, is President of the United States. This video is entitled, Make the Bible Great Again. Make the Bible Great Again is the Triumph Campaign overall theme. This is our overall slogan. I don't want anyone to define who I am or what my campaign is. I want to do that myself. So, Make the Bible Great Again is left to your own interpretation. We chose that for various reasons. They say Hillary Clinton did not have a good enough slogan, so we wanted to make sure we had a good enough slogan. Since we are also working with the White House and the Trump administration within the Make America Great campaign, I wanted something similar, but then to focus on if we're really going to make America great again. This was a country, a Christian country, dedicated to the foundations of democracy, was actually a lot of Hebrew, Christian, Judaic in inception. So we want to make sure that we have a slogan that's able to get everyone to have an immediate idea in what we're doing. First of all, as my other videos have shown, we as a Triumph Campaign are very much behind and branded as giving $5,000 universal basic income to every man, woman, and child. If you speak about every man, woman, and child in America, first of all, that's a great program, but it doesn't touch humanity. If you think that $5,000 a month universal basic income should universally be given to every man, woman, and child around the planet, then you're speaking in biblical terms. When we speak about the Bible, we say the basic instructions before leaving earth. We're also speaking about the King James Bible. We're looking at the fact that it seems that we're in some sort of an end-time dispensation. Even the blind can see that a lot of things that the Bible is speaking about seems to be occurring. We're also looking at the various signs and symbols that happened this year, from the signing of H.R. 1242 in January 2018 to the passing of the great evangelist Billy Graham in February 21st, 2018 to the blood moon in July 27, 2018 to the coming of 5779, the Hebrew New Year, September 10th going into September 11th. Also having midterms this year. A lot of different signs and symbols are allowing us to see that Make the Bible Great Again is something that we want everyone to begin considering. That is it possible that we have not been keeping up as watchers of Israel on what's really happening in the world because we've tuned in and focused on a secular, we're magnetized to secular activities. So as a presidential candidate, I asked this question, just like we asked the question of what Jesus would do. Imagine if Jesus was president. What would Jesus do? What type of foreign policy would Jesus have? What type of domestic policy would Jesus have? I know one thing. Jesus was very much into feeding his enemies and feeding his sheep. So when we consider universal basic income and we consider it in the light of the Bible, I think that's no different than Acts 20:35, where it's better to give than receive. I think that the giving and the feeding and the looking out for the poor is something that is biblically inspired. Now, when we look at our subtitle, which is by training a 21st century workforce, or Make the Bible Great Again by training a 21st century workforce, we're saying that the universal basic income system has to be part of a training of a 21st century workforce. And in training a 21st century workforce, using America as an example, 95% of Americans are directly or indirectly dependent on jobs. Well, if you're going to train 95% of the people to become more entrepreneurially inclined like the other 5% or the elite, which is the 1%, there's a lot of behavior modification and a lot of clues to how to be successful that are found in the Bible. And this was highlighted by the Covey Institute and Stephen R. Covey writing the book, 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Now, that has a lot of highlights into the Bible. So, we're looking at the end of work, we're looking at the end of the work week, we're looking at allowing people to actually fulfill their destiny and what we came to earth for. So in order to have some sort of guidance from moving out of the 20th century into the 21st century, a century that we're still putting together or a future that we're still putting the bricks and the foundation of, we ask ourselves, how are people going to deal with each other? And one thing that I look at, I look at what was said in Luke and what was also said in Matthew. I believe it was Matthew 6:10, when the Lord says, when you pray, pray like this. And he mentioned that the kingdom shall come to earth as it is in heaven. So when I think about what little children say when you ask a little child, what is your prayer for the world? And they always say world peace. So if the kingdom of heaven is going to come to earth, we ask ourselves when, and we say to ourselves, well, is it going to be a unified earth? Are we going to deal with each other as brothers and sisters? Are we going to be priests and priestesses of the Most High? What is the future going to look at? So, in Make the Bible Great Again, I don't think it's wrong for us to imagine a future of peace, for us to imagine a future without wars, for us to imagine a future where neighbor loves neighbor and helps neighbor, and that we're all one and we do operate in this world as we're all God's children and we're all working to one uniform goal. So that is the general idea for Make the Bible Great Again. UBI, giving people $5,000 a month, is a very foolish idea if you look at it from business, but when you look at it from a biblical perspective, that's no different than 1 Corinthians chapter 1, 25 through 30, when the Lord says that I can confound the philosophers and the wise by doing foolish things and empowering what you think is foolish. So we're looking at the 21st century as an impossible era, a new golden age, the age of Aquarius. So we're not afraid to espouse things that are a little bit unusual. Two things I want to do before this video ends is, one, speak about our national policies, and I'll do that briefly. One, we believe that there should be an Article 5 Constitutional Convention. Two, we believe we should decriminalize marijuana as well as all drugs. It's leading to a lot of pain and is leading to a bad relationship between police and the citizens of America. Three, we believe that $15 an hour should be made law. Federal law, $15 an hour is not a minimum wage. Four, we believe that income tax should be cut. And in order to do that, for now, the Triumph Campaign, we espouse negative income tax. We also believe that the descendants of slaves should also have reparations, and that should be $1 million check to be able to bring the payment of reparations to an end and to be able to compensate what has happened for 400 years of psychological and systematic brutality on African people. We also agree in what's called Earth Book USA, where we offer the USA the Universal Basic Income project that the Triumph Campaign is espousing. We offer that to be a model for the world. So Earth Book USA is an idea that the whole world can come into a new engineered system that allows us to have a better relationship as we move forward in the 21st century, where we're able to end wars and territorial wars or politically inspired wars. So those are the things that the Triumph Campaign is espousing nationally, but individually, we believe that there should be 7 major principles that prop up universal basic income, and those 7 is, number 1, we believe in what's called universal job sharing. Job sharing means that we all have the same job, so we can definitely share it. Number 2, for transportation, we believe in universal car sharing or ride sharing. And all of this is under collaborative consumption. We are part of the collaborative consumption movement, where it's not so much ownership as access. Number 3, we believe in universal home sharing. The whole idea is that everyone should have accommodation. And when you prop up $5,000 a month when you're dealing with someone who's poor, there should be some sort of a roof over their head. Number 4, we agree with universal free college prepay, and that's what people call universal free education. Number 5, we agree on universal medical or universal health care, and that gets into vision, dental, prescription, as well as any interaction with the hospitals. We want to make sure through the Triumph Campaign that you as a citizen, that's paid for. A lot of people have gotten broke trying to keep up with their medical bills. And number 6, we believe in what's called universal assurance, which is comprehensive insurance, to make sure that whatever unexpected happens in your life, that you will actually be taken care of and you can make it through that moment. And lastly, we believe in what's called universal negative income tax. Universal negative income tax is saying that income tax is something we should not be paying, is too high, and we want to offer as a Triumph Campaign tax credits to those who are paying income tax. all of this is part of a new social contract. And that new social contract is saying that the 20th century allowed us to have one social contract on what the citizens are expected to do and what the government is expected to do. We're now in a new century, and we need a new social contract. And we need a new candidate to be able to redefine how government relates to the people, and to be able to make government more efficient, more reliable, not so much intrusive, and to provide a social capitalist direction towards moving into the 21st century. So a lot of things are happening to show that Make the Bible Great Again is something that we all need to adhere to. And the major idea of that is, if we're going to begin giving money, that is an act of love. And we need to all raise our vibrations to do things of acts of love. And we need to get past these secret societies that want us to hate, that want us to be in fear, and want us to be in a lower vibration. So I offer that as a candidate for 2020. And I'm asking you all to subscribe to this channel, to like anything that you see, to share this channel with others. I'm bringing concepts that are not often discussed. I am a candidate for 2020. I am registered by the Federal Election Commission to be a presidential candidate, but there's a possibility that I'll be a write-in candidate. So I want everyone to remember my name, JAWAD HASHEM HAKEEM. We shouldn't have any misspellings, but this is going to be a referendum on the people going to the government and saying that we're not satisfied with the names that you put on the ballot. We need something different. And we're praying that together we can come together to not only make America great again, but do that with the spirit of making the Bible great again. And we're going to accomplish that by training a 21st century workforce. Thank you.